Beautiful view of San Francisco on a gorgeous Wednesday night. Pull your boat up, make your way inside AT&T Park. Tonight, Game 3 of this four-game set between the Rockies and the Giants. Monday night, the Rockies won 3-2, and last night was all about the pitching performance of the North Carolina native Madison Bumgarner. You want to talk special? He was special last night. He was perfect for 7 innings before Justin Morneau broke up the perfect game with a double to right, and then he retired the next 6 batters. A dominant one-hitter last night with my partner, Jeff Houston. I'm Drew Goodman. Glad that you're with us tonight. Sometimes I said after the ball game yesterday, you just tip your cap to your opponent because last night he was that good.
Well, he was, and you look at what he was able to do and accomplish. He had 13 strikeouts in the ball game, and I was talking to a few guys around the batting cage and in the locker room today. They said whenever he missed, which wasn't very often because he threw 80 strikes out of the 103 pitches that he threw, whenever he missed, though, they were tantalizing enough just so it make you feel like you would go after and get it. The one guy that was able to get one, though, was Justin Morneau. Break up that no-hitter, break up the perfect game. You never want to have that happen against you. And that swing that he put on that pitch, it wasn't a bad pitch. It was just a better piece of hitting from Justin.
Well, we've become used to seeing that all season long. Left on left, he swung the bat. Out on the road, he's actually hitting better, believe it or not, folks, than he is at Coors Field, and he's having a monster month of August. He was the only position player who hits lefty in the lineup against Bumgarner last night, and he got it done.
Well, you talk about that. He's hitting 325 out on the road, so everybody talks about it. Coors Field, and this average, 338 in the month. He's also leading the National League with the 317 average. So Justin Morneau is everything that you could have hoped for when you went out and signed this guy, and it's fun to see.
Well, I know one guy who's very impressed with Justin Morneau and enjoys working with him, the Rockies hitting instructor Blake Doyle.
Justin's a professional hitter. The big difference is that he's healthy. And when you're healthy, you get to stay in a routine. And he's been in, for the first time in a couple of years, been in a normal routine to where he can have what you're calling consistency and professional at-bats.
He is professional through and through. A very low strikeout rate also, which is unusual for a guy who hits the ball over the wall.
48 strikeouts on the year for Justin, and the difference really between, say, he and Ben Revere. Ben Revere has 1 home run, 15 RBIs. Of course, we know about Andrew McCutchen. He's been dealing with that rib injury, and then Aramis Ramirez. But Justin, this is really his race to lose, and the way he's swinging the bat, I don't see him losing it.
He's been so consistent all year long. He's in the lineup again tonight. When we come back to AT&T Park in preparation for first pitch this evening, we'll check in with Jenny. She'll have a couple of roster moves that you need to know about.
the Giants. And downfield level with you, Jenny Kavner in the Rockies dugout. Some bad news to report today for Colorado. As expected, Willeen Rosario is headed to the disabled list. The moves made today also included Boone Logan going to the disabled list. He's had problems with his left elbow all season long. This is now his 4th stint on the DL. For Willeen Rosario, his left wrist landed him on the DL. That means that Christian Friedrich was recalled from AAA. Colorado Springs to help out in the bullpen. Jackson Williams behind the plate. It looks like Jackson Williams could make his major league debut come tomorrow with the day game after the night game to relieve Michael McHenry, who's now started 5 consecutive games, including tonight. Williams had 3 days up here in the big leagues, but didn't make an appearance in the game, and to do it at AT&T Park would be special.
Kind of ironic. I mean, I spent my first 6 years with the Giants, and here I am, probably going to make my debut here, but on the other side of the field, So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I'll remember, obviously. I mean, I'm sure every one of these guys remembers the day that they debuted in the big leagues. I mean, this is where you want to be. This is where you want to stay. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I'm going to remember the rest of my life.
Williams was a first-round draft pick for the San Francisco Giants back in 2007. He was also ranked as the best defensive catcher in the organization. 2007, 2008, and 2010 would be special for him to get that major league debut under his belt as a Colorado Rocky. Hopefully that'll happen very soon. When we return, we'll have first pitch for you. The Rockies and the Giants all evened up in the series. First pitch coming your way next.
We are set for baseball from AT&T Park in San Francisco on another glorious Northern California evening. Charlie Blackmon stepping in against Tim Hudson, who owns 214 lifetime victories. The first pitch is off the plate, ball 1. Charlie did not start last night. He came in a double switch and had one at bat in the 9th inning and hit a fly ball to right field. This is bounced toward Michael Morse, and it's dropped by Hudson. It wasn't the cleanest fielding play with the hands or throw by Morse.
The inexperience of Michael Morse at first base, kind of reminiscent of what and how the game started the other night. High throw to Hudson, and he had a chance to go up and get that baseball, but he's running. That has to be at the chest. They're going to go E3 on Michael Morse, his 5th error this season.
This is how the ball game started on Monday for the Giants. They made 2 errors in the first, 2 more in the third. The Rockies took advantage, won 3-2. So Morse now a hold on Blackman. Charlie, as you all know, can really run. He's got 22 stolen bases. Drew Stubbs is at the plate. He takes ball 1.
Hudson's tough to run on, though. I mean, here's a veteran guy. He's been pitching for a long, long time. He knows how to vary his looks. Buster Posey's also thrown out 29% of the runners that have tried to go against him,
which is not a bad number.
No.
And Stubbs swings through that, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Tim Hudson's season, Huey, has really been the tale of 2 seasons. He was outstanding the first half of the season, and in the second half he has been less than stellar.
Well, the batting average against him in just August is .313. I mean, the pitches are going up per inning, more elevated pitches. But early in the season, he wasn't walking anybody.
No, he was 7-2 with a 1.81 ERA through his first 13 starts. Since that time, he's gone 2-7 with a 4.48.
Not getting the run support he had early in the season.
No, not even close. He's had 19 runs of support over his last 12 starts. 2-2 on Stubbs. Drew 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts last night. The most well-struck ball. And this gets by Morse. That's going to be an error on Morse. Another one. I don't think they'll give that to Hudson. That's a catchable ball.
Same thing happened, as you referenced, on Monday night with Charlie. First it started with the air on Monday. And they might give that one to Hudson just because of where the throw was, and that is exactly what they'll do. His second error.
Yeah, they gave it to Hudson, but that's a play that's got to be made by
yeah,
the
but
first
Peavy
baseman.
did that the other night when he tried to pick off Charlie at second base. Threw the ball and hit the bag and went into left field.
2-2 on Stubbs. And he goes down swinging. Off-speed pitch. Let's take a look at the Rockies lineup, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Justin Morneau will bat third. He's coming to the plate right now. Then Arenado, Dickerson, who did not play against Bumgarner last night. Michael McHenry again behind the plate. Rutledge and LeMahieu, with Franklin Morales pitching and batting ninth. See if Morneau can give the Rockies the early advantage. On the ground to second. Two outs as Arenado comes up. Let's take a look at the Inova numbers on Hudson. Painless outpatient treatment of prostate cancer. Visit InovaCC.com.
Oh, the 4-time All-Star, 39 years of age. It kind of coming back to where it all started over across the bay with Oakland. But the .299 ERA, that's good for 12th best in the National League. So, yeah, his numbers and his record isn't what it was early in the season, but still, when you're talking about a sub-3 ERA after that many starts, 25 starts, still looking good.
Yeah, he can still get it done. 214 and 120 in his career. In 17 professional seasons, he has never had a losing record.
I saw that, and I was like, but that shows you, though, you know, some guys, even when they don't have their good stuff on a particular evening, how they keep their club in a game.
Arenado fouls it off. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's take a look at the gloves for the Giants, brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. Oh, they've had issues in this series. Blanco again in left, Pagan in center, of course, Pence in right. Sandoval just 7 errors. Matt Duffy making his 3rd big league start at shortstop. Joe Panik, he doesn't have a lot of experience at second base. 2 call-ups recently, and Duffy and Panik. Morse has had his name mentioned more than he would like already in this game.
Well, and you have a ground ball pitcher in Tim Hudson. So let's see how that continues to play out the rest of the evening. 283 ground balls for Hudson. That's second most in the National League.
And of course, their veteran shortstop, their everyday shortstop, Brandon Crawford's in a fielding slump.
2 errors the other night.
He's got 20 on the season. 2-1 on Nolan. 2 outs and Blackmon at third. Ooh, got a pitch to hit there.
Yes, he did. You're right in a place where you can get the arms extended. When you foul a ball straight back, those are the ones you know that you missed by just a grain on the bat.
Two, and it's 3-2.
I like the way Nolan just kind of walks over there and eyeballs it the whole way. Not like Pete Rose used to do, where he'd stare all the way into the glove, but he will walk it. If the pitch is outside, he'll stay with it that long.
Well, early in spring training, guys will track. You just step in. You remember this, too.
Yeah.
Just track pitches. That's what he was doing, making sure that that ball indeed was off the plate and not worthy of an emergency hack.
Good habit to get into.
3-2. So Hudson strikes out 2 in the inning, and he leaves Charlie Blackmon at third base. By your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Inova Cancer Care, advanced non-surgical treatment of prostate cancer in only 5 sessions. Visit InovaCC.com. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Magical city of San Francisco. And on this Wednesday evening, game time temperature 64 degrees. The Rockies and Giants go to the bottom of the first inning. I forgot about that cable car way. I thought I was looking at Powell Street. Powell and Geary, I thought.
They were trying to ring the bell on the cable car.
Yeah, I was trying to figure it out, but the cable car way out there in deep right center field. Here's Bruce Bochy's lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at Southwest.com. Angel Pagan will lead it off as he customarily does for the Giants. And Hunter Pence, Buster Posey, the hitting star last night, overshadowed by Bumgarner, but he hit 2 home runs. Just the second time in his career he's done that. Pablo Sandoval, Michael Morse, Matt Duffy, Joe Panik, Gregor Blanco, and Tim Hudson against Franklin Morales. There's a cable car.
Yeah, that's a staple in San Francisco, Drew.
Cable cars?
Cable cars.
You gotta be kidding
No.
me. You can use those instead of cabs or buses?
Right.
Really?
Just hop on if you want, and then when you ring the bell, then you can get off at that stop if you would like.
Oh. next thing you're going to tell me there's a lot of hills around here, right?
True. And some water.
Pagan from the right side, not as dangerous as he is from the left side. He's hitting 264 right-handed, 314 left-handed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Frankie again. Ooh, boy.
Poor foul.
It did.
Well,
Frankie just incorporated 2 starts ago that Luis Tiant move.
Does it about half the time. Well, not every pitch, but it helps with some deception. That's what he's trying to gain from that, where he'll turn his back, really just show the numbers and the name on the back of the jersey to the hitter.
1-2 on Pagan. And another cut fastball that Pagan gets the barrel at, pulls foul. Got him set up for something soft away, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, if you could throw a changeup, that's his split changeup, but that's his 4th pitch. It's not a pitch that Frankie throws with very much regularity. It's just 4 to 5% of every pitch or every sequence, but that's what they're trying to go to.
That's exactly the way McHenry was thinking. Look up at Pagan.
Double check, make sure he's not peeking.
Not bad execution of it.
No,
Too far off the plate, though, to induce a swing.
Yeah, but if you're going to miss out there. Don't miss inside with the changeup.
Fastball away. We're doing well, aren't we?
Yeah.
And he got him. That had a little cut to it, and Pagan is the first out for Franklin Morales. That'll bring up Hunter Pence. Let's take a look at some more numbers on Frankie, brought to you by Inova Cancer Care. Painless outpatient treatment of prostate cancer. Visit InovaCC.com. Huey?
Trying to erase the memory of his last start against Miami. He gave up 6 earned runs. That tied a season high for him. Last 5 starts haven't been kind. 0-3 with the .554, but you look at that, what Frankie's had to do, but bouncing back and forth. Now he's back into the rotation again. He's had that proper time to think about it and also work on the side and how he wants to go about it in this game.
Here's Pence, and he's hit this ball to left field fairly deep, but Dickerson's there. 2 outs. Got it off the end of the bat a little bit. Buster Posey will be next. Let's take a look at the Rockies gloves. Brought to you by Excel Energy. Visit responsiblebynature.com today to learn more. Dickerson, Stubbs, and Blackman. Rutledge has really come on defensively. Nolan committed an error last night. It was his 15th of the year. And Michael McHenry has had to catch every day. Huey talked about Jackson Williams. Jenny did a piece on Jackson Williams now being up with Rosario on the DL with the wrist injury. Pretty good chance we'll see Jackson tomorrow, day game after a night game. That game, by the way, will not be televised. Pick up again Friday down in Phoenix. There's Jackson. Posey turns on one, and there's Corey Dickerson. So a good start for Morales. A strikeout and a couple of balls to Dickerson in left. We'll go to the second.
pitched a complete game last night, gave up just one hit. It happened to Justin Morneau. So he shut out the Rockies last night. That is the 8th time the Colorado Rockies have been shut out so far this season. But the trend as of late is the next game, they always bounce back. Time now for our Steel T heating and air cool stat. Never a trip charge for a repair. That's a $69 value. Steel T, the T stands for trust. Go to steelT.com. When you take a look at this again, when the Rockies have been shut out the next day, look at this. 5 or more runs they've scored in their last 5 games. That includes 10-run games against the next day after they got shut out in LA and then against St. Louis. But of course here at AT&T Park, the runs don't come that easy in a pitcher's park. So we talked to Walt Weiss about it today, and he said, really, we want to get that monkey off our back as quickly as possible. And for the Rockies just having one hit yesterday, Drew and Jeff, that would mean not only getting hit, but scoring a run. And of course, they left Charlie Blackmon stranded at third. He reached base on an error, though. So time for Corey Dickerson to step up here, guys.
Well, he usually does, Jenny, as you know. He's had a fabulous year, .318 batting average, 19 home runs, and he needs to get a whole lot of at-bats before the end of the year to qualify for the batting race. As you look at Madison Bumgarner the next day, he had a great response to a question after the game, and I think it was a good question. You and I were discussing it, Jeff. How would he handle in the 8th inning after the leadoff double by Morneau? It's a letdown. It's got to be an emotional letdown. Well, he responded by striking out the next 3 hitters and walking back to the dugout. So after the game, a reporter asked him, about handling the letdown. And he gave him this quizzical look, evidently, and said, "What letdown?" He said, "I never lost my focus. I never lost that I was locked in." He said, "My job is to try to win a baseball game."
Well, and what a response that was, because I said during the broadcast that that's a natural instinct for a player. After you give up a hit, you lose a no-hitter, a perfect game, what he had going on. But then he struck out Michael on 3 pitches. Michael McKinley, next batter, boom, boom, boom. And then it was almost like, okay, that's over with. I'm going to continue to roll, and boy, did he ever last night. He had no more than 15 pitches in any one of the 9 innings.
Well, as McHenry takes strike 1 from Hudson, it gives you a little more insight into Madison Bumgarner and one of the reasons he's been so successful. Does he have great stuff? Is he a little unorthodox? Absolutely, and that's a big part of his success. But the one thing in scouting that all endeavor to do is kind of get a peek inside somebody's chest. It's the most difficult thing to determine what kind of heart somebody has, the toughness they have. He's got it, in addition to great talent.
Just 25 years of age, 24, 28 first pitch strikes, 15.
That's ridiculous.
15 0-2 counts. That number, to me, it just shows you a lot of how he was just attacking the strike zone.
And he used 2 different fastballs last night. And check this one out as Rutledge gets ready to hit. He's the 4th left-handed pitcher in the last 50 years to throw a complete game shutout with 13 strikeouts and no walks, and either throw a no-hitter or give up 1 hit. The other 3 guys, Sandy Koufax, Randy Johnson, and Clayton Kershaw earlier this year against the Rockies. Slowly hit to second. Get Rutledge there. So a quick inning for Hudson in the second. Middle of 2, no score at AT&T Park in San Francisco. cleanup hitter for San Francisco. He'll hit against Franklin Morales here in a second. Tweet your questions using the hashtag ToyotaTalk, and we'll answer as many as we can during the 5th inning. Also, Hugh, you know what's coming up next inning? That would be the 3rd inning.
Yep.
Michael Kadire, Rockies batting champ from a year ago, will join Jenny down in the dugout for an inning. There's Cuddy.
The whole inning.
The whole inning. So he's going to be like the fourth member of our broadcast crew. There's Matt McBride. Sandoval was 0 for 4 last night, and he's out in front of a slider. It's 0-1. .287 average. This is in the air to center. Stubbs barely has to move. Drew's got it. 1 out. That'll bring up Michael Morris. A reminder that Subaru brings you the manager's challenge. If there's a questionable call, instant replay will be used to determine the outcome. Brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Bruce Bochy sitting on 1,599 career victories as a manager.
Tied with Tommy Lasorda. 19th all time.
Right center field and really deep. And Morse does not run well, but this is in the deepest part of Triples Alley, and he's going to stop and fall back into second base. Tim Flannery saying, whoa, big fella.
Hang on.
He hit that about 420 feet.
I thought for a second, if the wind hadn't been blowing out to right center field, that Charlie had a chance for this, because he turned and ran to a spot, but the ball just kept going away and away. Michael Morris running around first base, thinking I'll try to get into third. He had a triple in Monday night in the 4th inning.
And it was his third triple of the year, which kind of surprised us a little bit.
But it was in the same area.
Matt Duffy at the plate. Morse got a little character in him. Fun-loving guy.
It's all right. Everybody doesn't have to be out of the same mold.
No, it's better when they're not.
I agree. I like all the different personalities on a ball club.
Don't want a homogenous clubhouse. Don't want a homogenous society.
Nope, not at all.
Oh, that's a good pitch. Talking to Hensley Mullins about this kid Matt Duffy today. I said, boy, he's skinny. I said, but he hits. He was hitting 330 in the Eastern League. You know, that's a tough league to put good numbers up.
A lot of heavy air, and here you go.
Now they'll stop Morris at third base, so it's first and third with 1 out. And Joe Panic will come up.
Hitting over 300 in the Eastern League. Cut fastball, pulled the hands in. You have to get those hands closer to your belly to get the barrel of the ball, and then Tim Flannery said, "Nope, just stay right there, Morris."
We'll have to get a ground ball here, and Frankie's more of a fly ball pitcher than a ground ball pitcher, but if you can, you got a chance to get out of this without any damage. Panic will go left on left, but for a young kid, he has swung the bat well against lefties. He started on Monday night. He went 0 for 4, as you can see.
Just doesn't seem to be intimidated, but if you could throw the slider down and away to him, get him to roll over, you would have a chance for a double play. A 378 during the month of August.
And he's hitting 389 against lefties. That's outside. It's 2-0.
The Rockies have turned 138 double plays. First in the NL.
And it's 3-0. Another left-handed bat is on deck, and Gregor Blanco. 3-1. Foul ball, so it's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I don't think they would start Duffy at first base. If they had more speed at third, then you could see them doing that, but try to steal a run.
And Duffy's really an average runner.
But it'd
Sometimes
be more,
we fall in the trap of looking at middle infield and assuming they all run well. That's not the case.
It would be more the case for them starting the runner to try to stay out of the double play.
Not going, and it's topped foul.
If he went real late, almost a delayed steal.
Another 3-2. Nope. They're going to pick to first. That's a good idea.
I like that.
Yep, I agree.
Because Tommy Runnels saw what Duffy was doing in that previous pitch. How he waited till the lake came up, made sure he delivered home, and then he took off. So Tommy's thinking, well, if they go and try to do that again, maybe I catch him going first movement.
The catcher has to be on high alert, and ball's popped up foul.
I have a chance on this one.
May have a play reaching in. He does. So Nolan reaches into the Giant dugout. Said, "Excuse me, I got to grab this."
Well, and
Two outs.
You're not getting any help over there. They're not saying a word. So infielders have to plan on. They're just saying, "I've got to keep looking down at the ground, checking out where I am, reach for the railing," and that's what Nolan does. It helps when the fencing is high enough where you don't feel like you're going to flip over, because if you were to flip over, you'd have to come back out of the dugout to make the throw.
Good throw from inside the dugout.
Yeah, it's not allowed. You got to come back and reestablish position.
That'd be interesting to see if Morse would have taken off.
Well, I'd be more concerned with the guy at first base tagging and going to second.
1-0 on Blanco. No score, first and third, 2 outs. Blanco 1 for 5 lifetime against Frankie, and it's 1-2.
This is where you have to be aware of a delayed steal, especially with the left-handed batter up. Way
inside. Good job by McHenry almost laying out to get to the baseball.
You have to be agile and be on your toes. When you're thinking it's going to be one spot, you have to reach back across your body. Misses by a good foot and a half.
Two. Got him. And the tag to make it official at the plate. Good pitching from Morales. First and third, one out. He gets Panic on a foul ball and Blanco on a punch out.
The third scoreless between the Giants and the Rockies. And our third inning brought to you by Michael Kadire. Glad that you can join us, Michael. I know you're not so glad because that means you're on the disabled list and not playing. Been a rough year in that regard. Only 34 games for you so far this season after winning a batting title last year. I'm sure it's pure torture down here, coming back for 2 games Sunday, hitting for the cycle, and now back on the DL. Just kind of catch us up. Where is your health right now? And do you kind of expect as soon as September 9th comes and you're eligible to come off the DL, we'll see you?
I feel good. Obviously I was on the right path. That's why I was able to pinch it about a week ago. And unfortunately, that's also why we couldn't retroactive me on the DL. But, I am coming along. I don't know if I'll be 100% by the time I'm eligible to come off the DL, but we'll see.
Well, you're doing a lot of watching of these games, and I know yesterday you got to watch Madison Bumgarner up close and personal, see what he did. Unfortunately, to your teammates, Tim Hudson, he also looks pretty great. What is it about the Giants pitching staff that always seems to come with it?
Well, they're all experienced, first and foremost. They've been in a lot of situations. They've been in World Series. Tim Hudson's been around for 14 years. The thing about Tim Hudson that makes him good is he throws the pitch that looks like a strike until it's a ball. And what I mean, it gets to be about 55 feet away, and then it dips out of the strike zone. But by that time, you've already committed to most of his pitches, whether it's the sinker, the split, the slider, or the curveball. I
love this. We got an in-game player analyst. For more, we're going to bring Drew and Jeff back into the conversation. We got Michael Kadire on the hot seat, fellas. So
we went to get ice cream. We were kind of enjoying the inning off.
It was nice.
Cuddy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, guys. Yourselves?
We're hanging in there, and I got to ask you a question about the guy who broke up the perfect game yesterday. You played with him a long time. You were instrumental in the Rockies going out and bringing him to Denver. Are you even surprised at how well and how consistent he's been this year, given that he's been at this for a while?
Right. No, I'm not. And the thing about Justin, and the reason why he was so enticing for us to bring him in, as DJ hits a ball pretty well. But the thing about Justin is he is so consistent. He knows how to drive in runs. He knows how to put together at bats. He doesn't strike out very often. And I think last year, for him to be able to get over the hump of just playing baseball, just getting back out there and knowing that he can go through 155 games, 162 game schedule, I think he was able to put that doubt out of his mind and concentrate solely on performance. And I think you're seeing the results of that now, is him going out there and playing the baseball that he's capable of playing, because he doesn't have that fear or that doubt of being hurt anymore.
You know, I want to follow up on that, too, because I think it's interesting the fact that Justin right now leading the National League with his batting average. You won a batting title. You've been there and done that. I'm sure he doesn't need advice right now, but do you have any for him as he's approaching this final month of the season?
No, you know, again, he's been in the league, 10, 11 years now. He's won an MVP. He's been through races like that. And, I think he just needs to go out there and continue to stay with his preparation, continue to stay with his game plan. And, hopefully when it's all said and done, we have 3 guys up there in that race.
That's right.
2-strike count on Frankie. And he's got. You brought something up that's very interesting, and Huey and I were discussing this a little bit earlier. He's always been a power hitter, talking about Morneau, yet he does not strike out much, and that's unusual for a guy that can hit it over the wall.
Well, he's a guy who is relentless in his preparation. He's relentless in the studying of his pitchers. He's in front of the video machine constantly, and I bet you he could go up to any pitcher in the National League, come up with a count, and he'll tell you the percentage that he throws each pitch in that count. And that's the mark of a true veteran, a guy who studies the at-bats, he studies the pitchers, he knows what's coming, and that's the reason why he's got a really good idea in what the count is, especially with 2 strikes, and why he doesn't strike out very often.
Well, and his average with 2 strikes, I mean, the Major League average is 178, and he's well into the 230s. I think that goes to your point. The other thing I like to see is I always see Corey Dickerson right around him a lot, and it seems like they're talking about hitting all the time.
They are, and again, both being left-handed, both going to see the same types of pitches. They both hit in the middle of the order, and pitchers are going to attack them very similarly. So it's kudos to Dickey for staying around and paying attention to Justin, but also kudos to Justin for kind of taking him under his wing and teaching him the way that he prepares and how to go about pitchers.
That's a pretty dirty changeup right there. As Charlie walks off very quickly, Cuddy, look at that beard. That's kind of like a Medusa-like beard now, is it not?
He said it's a Medusa-like beard that Charlie Blackmon has going on. We know you're freshly shaven, too. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I can't do the beard like him, that's for sure.
Well, we're going to head to break here. We will keep Michael Kadire around. He's going to stay on the hot seat for the bottom of the 3rd. Stick with us. Joined by Michael Kadire down here in the Rockies dugout. Thanks so much for your time joining us during the game. I know you've been watching closely and try to talk to as many teammates as you can. Unfortunately, you've been in that role a little longer than you wanted to this year. But have you enjoyed the coaching part and the teaching part?
I guess I have, but I guess that's probably why I went down to the rookie level when I went on my rehab stint. But no, I definitely enjoy playing much more than sitting on the bench and trying to have my pom-poms out and being a cheerleader.
Yeah, it's not your favorite thing. You have kind of been through all gamuts this year. You've been down at rookie ball level. As you mentioned, you've been on the bus trips. You've seen all of Montana now. You can check that off your list. You can check the cycle off your list in the National League.
Yeah.
So it has been an eventful year, even though, unfortunately, you haven't seen much action on the field.
No, and Montana was able to see the Medusa tree, so that was a lot of fun as well. But, no, we were able to see a lot of stuff going on this year. Unfortunately, not a lot of game time.
Cuddy, that was well played.
You can get Medusa worked into a broadcast. Michael Kadire can get Medusa worked into a broadcast.
Hey, Cuddy, this is Huey. Which is more difficult for you? Was it the shoulder and knowing that you couldn't play for 2 months, or the hamstring that you have now?
You know, I think that's a great question. I think the shoulder was more frustrating because I was more limited. I couldn't really do anything. And I think that's why I ended up pulling my hamstring. 7 weeks I was in a sling. I was able to do a little bit of strengthening, nothing on the bottom half for 7 weeks. 6 days I was able to do something, then I went on a rehab, which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but I was chomping at the bit, and unfortunately had a long day that Sunday and ended up pulling my hamstring.
Angel Pagan coming up with 1 out in the 3rd inning. This Giant team is an interesting one in that they've won 2 World Series, obviously, in the last few years. And they always seem to reinvent themselves offensively. And we're seeing that the last month or so where the pitching maybe dropped off a little bit and they're struggling to put together wins. But guys like Posey were struggling early, Sandoval have come around. This is a ballpark that is known for being a pitcher's ballpark. Do you ever come to a yard and go, man, this looks like it's tough to get a hit? And then you're at Coors Field and you say, wow, there's a lot of green pastures. Does that play into it at all?
It does. This is one of those bigger ballparks, though, that you do come and you see a lot of open space. And maybe it's not conducive for home runs, but it's not a bad hitter's park. It's a park where a lot of those jam shots will fall for base hits, and you can get your singles and your blue doubles and things of that nature. It's just not a very conducive power park, and I think that's why you don't see the slugging percentage from these guys in the upper 4s and low 5s.
One thing I've noticed, and I know you're aware of this, you won a batting title last year. Morneau's competing for a batting title. Justin's actually hitting higher on the road. Last year, you hit for a robust average out on the road. Guys that started somewhere else, it's almost as if the psychology of the altitude in Coors Field isn't part of what you guys were brought up with, so it doesn't affect you as much. Is that just happenstance, or is there something to that?
I think you're 100% correct, and that's what I say. I tell people that all the time, is we didn't grow up in the organization that told us you can only hit on the road, you can only hit at home and you can't hit on the road. We didn't grow up knowing that you could only pitch on the road and you can't pitch at home. So we never had that psychology, like you said. You just go out and you play baseball. It doesn't matter what stadium it's at. And I think that has played a big part in the success that Justin and guys that have come over in free agency or via trades has had on the road.
This is your 3rd year in the National League. You had all the years in the American League. Do you have a preference to a league?
You know, I get that question quite a bit as well, and I have 2 different answers. I like the strategy between managers in the National League, deciding when to double switch, when to let the pitcher go up and hit and things of that nature. But I like the strategy between the players more in the American League. There's no DH in the National League, obviously, so you have to figure out how to get each and every single hitter out when you're a pitcher in the American League. And I like that cat and mouse game of who you're going to attack, who you're not going to attack, and things of that nature in the American League. So I think they both have their positives, they both have their negatives, and you know, you just love baseball.
Well, before we let you go, speaking of love baseball, I got to know, are you a box score guy? Do you watch this time of year at the race going on down the stretch and really kind of pencil in your teams for October?
I do. I watch. I don't necessarily keep up with the standings and things like that. I think it's still too early. Even though we are about to go into September, I still think it's too early. I remember in 2009 with Minnesota, we were 7.5 games out, and we were able to come back and win it. So I don't necessarily watch the standings, but I definitely keep track of the races and things. And I think with the extra wild card, it's even more premature to to start watching box scores and standings. So we get about 2 weeks left in the season, week and a half, 10 days left in the season. That's when I start watching these races closely.
Well, Michael, we enjoyed having you on here. We know that we enjoy watching you a little bit more on the field, so hopefully we'll see you soon. Drew, Jeff, we'll send it back to you guys as Hunter Pence has a 3-1 count.
Yeah, Michael, we've been watching, we've been observing you, your whole game, not just what you do on the field, but off the field. We think, down the road you may have a future in this business. Hunter Pence, an infield single, despite a wonderful attempt by Nolan Arenado.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And this is one of the guys, Hunter Pence is a guy that, hopefully people think that's the way I play the game. He plays the game the right way, hustles all the time, and hopefully I can get back out there and do it soon.
Sounds good, man. Take care of yourself. We look forward, and I know I speak for everybody out there, to seeing you right back on the field again.
Thanks, Cuddy.
Guys. Yep.
One of the class acts in baseball.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. He's just, he's always personable, always has time for you. If you go up and ask him a question, or you say, hey, what do you think about this? He has a response for you that is well thought out.
Yeah, he's as good as it gets. He's absolutely as good as it gets. I've said it, I think I've said it on these airwaves. I know I've said it on the radio show, that he is as fine a guy that I've ever met in sports. And that, we've been fortunate to cover, football, basketball, baseball, hockey at all levels, and he's just a classy guy. 1 ball, 1 strike on Buster Posey with Pence at first. And if he chooses, like Jeff Houston and George Frazier before him, he'll have a future in broadcasting.
Do whatever he wants. If he wanted to move to the front office, he could do that.
Yeah.
I mean, going to coaching. It always comes down, though, to a player and what effect it has on his family. Michael's family, a lot of times, are back east, back in Virginia. So it's a tough being away from your family for so long.
Yeah, they live in 2 different places. Claudia and his kids spend a good portion of the time in Denver when school's out, but then he said head back to Northern Virginia area.
And it's not just during the season. You also think about the 6, 7 weeks of spring training.
Yeah.
So you end up living out of your house for about 8 months out of the year. And that's a tough one.
I'm sure that Wendy has this somewhere in your house. Christy, my wife, has it in our house. You know
the
where?
Sign?
The sign. All you need to say in baseball is the sign. This marriage has been interrupted by the baseball season.
That is correct.
2-2 on Buster Posey. Runner going, and it's back up the middle and on through. You got to watch Pence. He's going to shut it down at third as Drew Stubbs got it in quickly. Buster Posey continues to swing the bat well. And with 2 outs, Sandoval will come up.
For Buster, the first 6 games against Colorado, he'd come into this season with a .390 average, just 2 for 17. But since then, he is 8 for 19. Hunter Pence is running on the pitch, base hit up the middle. He picks up the ball, and he kept motoring around second, and then finally had to be stopped at third.
Good spot. 0-1 on Panda.
You don't see Pablo Sandoval just take a pitch too many times. And that one he did. Look for him to swing at this one, though. He just doesn't like to go up there and eyeball anything.
In this ballpark tonight, you have 2 of the best bad ball hitters, and that's a compliment in the sport. Pablo Sandoval, and for the Rockies, their left fielder, Corey Dickerson.
And it is a compliment because of the hand-eye coordination that's involved to be able to do that.
Here's the 2-strike pitch. Trying to get a swing on a fastball up and away. Sandoval's battled weight issues. We all understand that if you follow the game, but he loves to play. He's a tough guy to get out of the lineup. Swung on and missed. Franklin Morales with the strikeout of Sandoval, and he traps Pence at third, Posey at first, and keeps it scoreless as we go to the fourth. Split. All right, Mark, thanks very much. Drew Stubbs tried to bunt his way on and offered at it, so it's 0-1 against Hudson. Tigers made a lot of moves, Huey, but they haven't been very consistent.
They're a game and a half back now on the wild card.
Royals had to walk off at the Alex Gordon home run yesterday. 2-strike count. Here's the AL playoff picture. The Orioles, the Buck Showalter way out in front in the East. The Royals now 2.5 up in the Central, and the Angels in a great battle with not only the A's but the Mariners.
How about the Mariners? Last week they went into, I think it was Boston, and swept them. I said the Tigers were a game and a half back. They're just a half game back in the wild card.
1-2 on Stubbs. Sliders off the plate, 2-2 on Drew. Well, more so than you normally associate Tim Hudson with. He's produced strikeouts tonight. That's his 5th. And that'll bring up Justin Morneau. Morneau grounded to second, his first at bat against Hudson. Who wants tacos? Remember, when the Rockies score 7 or more during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special.
You mentioned the 5 strikeouts, and for Tim Hudson, he had only 9 strikeouts in his previous 4 games in August total.
Last 12 and a third innings, the Rockies have one hit. The guy at the plate owns it. The 8th inning double yesterday, and now with a 2-0 count, they're going to put the shift on. It had to do with the count.
Right.
I don't think they all of a sudden recognized, oh, there's .0 up there.
No, they waited until after the first one. But for Justin, you know, he's not just a pure pull guy, because he'll hit balls to left field, center field, right field, 36 base hits to left, over 50 to center, and in the 40s to right. So, yeah, you'll play the pull on the infield, but the outfield has to play straight up. These were the numbers I mentioned just a second ago, and so most of those hits, if you think about it, he's trying to stay centered. Right center to left center.
Ball 4. So the Rockies had their second base runner. Charlie Blackmon led off the ball game, reached on an error by Michael Morse. 1 out, Morneau at first. Scoreless game. We're in the top of the 4th inning. That'll bring up Nolan Arenado. Tim Hudson gets ground balls almost 54% of the time, which is really good, but it's the lowest of his career. He gets one here. Sandoval comes up with it on the first double play. That was Arenado-like at third by Sandoval as they turn it over 5-4-3. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the Ford Focus. Big MPGs and fun to drive. Ford, go further. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. With Jeff Hewson and Jenny Kavnar, I'm Drew Goodman from beautiful San Francisco, California. No scores. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. And that's sharing.
It's one way to do it.
Yeah. Listen to the game. Sure, they're listening to Dave Fleming and John Miller to our left right now. Michael Morse, who had a double into Triples Alley. First time up, takes a strike on the inside corner. I left out our 4th broadcaster tonight, Michael Kadire. We thank him as well.
Yes, thank you very much.
Cuddy was on with us in the 3rd inning. Giants have 4 hits in the game. Rockies without a hit.
We don't want to be waiting until the 8th inning again. How about breaking it up next half inning? Well, the next Purple Monday is Labor Day against the Giants, and the first 5,000 fans will receive a Rockies purple t-shirt. All fans with a ticket will get to see some bonus baseball, as a suspended game from May will resume prior to the regularly scheduled game at 2:10. Wear purple, win prizes. He fouled that ball off his left foot. Jim Joyce, home plate umpire, is giving him an extra couple seconds to try to get some feeling back in the toes.
This is lined to right, and it's going to go foul. Swung on and missed, and Morales has his 5th strikeout. So a leadoff punch out of Morse in the 4th, and Matt Duffy will take his turn. It's also time for you to tweet us your Rockies fan photos. Use the hashtag #COFanPhoto for an opportunity to have it seen during an upcoming game, brought to you by AT&T.
Said earlier that Franklin was using that Louis Tion half turn about half the time. Tonight I'd say it's more around the 3/4 mark. Just watching him out there, he'll turn to get that back hip pocket facing the hitter. There it goes again.
Duffy singled to center his first time. Giants are 33-33 after the 3-0 shutout last night at home, which is really un-San Francisco-like. Started out great this year, and I mean great, dominant at AT&T, and then they just fell apart after the Rockies swept them here in mid-June.
Well, coming into this series, they started the year 22-9 at AT&T. And now in their last 35 games, they're 11-24.
They don't typically play well, Huey, against left-handed pitchers either. Against left-handed starters in their last 20 games, they're 6-14.
Well, part of it is Pagan's numbers are lower hitting right-handed. Pablo Sandoval's numbers are lower hitting right-handed.
And they have a spot or two in the lineup where they don't have "this is fair" in the left field corner. Matt Duffy's 2 for 2. I was going to say that they have a couple spots where they really don't have a right-handed option. Their shortstop, Brandon Crawford, hits left-handed.
Well, Gregor Blanco, too.
Gregor Blanco's kind of their 3rd-and-a-half outfielder, left-handed bat.
I've been impressed with this youngster, Matt Duffy. With 2 hits tonight. The first one was a slider. He had to pull his hands in. This time he opened the hips to get to the fastball faster. Pretty quick bat.
Real quick bat. Not a lot to him right now as he fills out. They may have something here in San Francisco. Not bad for an 18th round pick out of Long Beach State. Bill Panic.
Nice catch.
out of St. John's takes ball one. It's way off the plate.
Instead of Max nicknamed the Fort, we're going to have to be calling him Iron Mike back behind the plate every game.
Strike by Jim Joyce. I don't think we ID'd the fact that Jim's behind the plate. He's the crew chief. Marvin Hudson at first. Doug Eddings is at second. Corey Blazer at third. Pack 145 major league at bats, and that's a base hit to left. Dickerson to the baseball quickly. And we have another first and third situation. It's the third time in 4 innings that the Giants have a first and third deal. But a real opportunity again for Frankie to get out of it. He's got Gregor Blanco left on left, and then Hudson.
Last inning it was first and second, struck out Pablo Sandoval. Back in the second it was panic with the little pop-up and struck out Blanco.
Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. The Rockies have 138 double plays this year, Jeff, which is 7 more than the Giants.
Well, they turned 4 on Monday night. That helped them in the W that Tyler Matzik recorded, the win. Prime time now.
See that graphic? You look carefully at it. 4 of the 5 teams in the National League West.
Interesting.
Yeah. Especially to the open side. The advantage you have if you're San Francisco is that you have a lefty on the mound, so you can't see where the runner is. And Arenado tried to make a late move to get Duffy to move back toward the bag.
And then as a base runner, you just follow that third baseman down as far as he goes. If he were to field the ball, then you watch where he makes the throw. It's not a play from bad play from Blanco's standpoint.
Again, it'd be a safety squeeze.
Right.
It's 2-0.
It's a cut fastball, 89 miles an hour. Look to throw that pitch again.
2-1, and there's the bunt. It's going to get the run home. Perfectly executed.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was when you have a guy that can handle the bat like Blanco. We saw it on the first pitch where he showed it. This time on the fourth pitch, he does it. Right down the first baseline. Watch what the runner does. Sees the ball down before he goes. So it was more of a safety squeeze on Blanco's side. And Justin's thinking, well, I've got an option here if I can catch it and flip it out of my glove at the same time, because I know I can't stop, turn around and make the throw to first. Will be a base hit and an RBI.
And now Hudson will be bunting. Trying to move Panic to third, Blanco to second. And that's a great bunt. Arenado able to throw out Hudson. It took a special play to get that done. So a sacrifice by Hudson, who bunted that more like he was trying to get a hit.
Well, and the grass here at AT&T Park, there's only about 6 inches from where the grass ends and the line begins. And he laid it about as good as you could do it down the third base line, but Nolan so smooth. Comes up, bare hands it. Now he's waiting. And I always tell kids when I'm coaching them, saying, well, when in doubt, get an out. Because Nolan wanted to stay back to see if they could get the lead runner at third, but realized, no, I got to go make the play. 2 outs and we'll deal with the batter in Pagan.
Pagan, with 2 in scoring position, has struck out twice, and he's out in front on the off speed. It's 0-1. Another off speed. Down in Arizona, where the Rockies are heading tomorrow after the day game. The Dodgers leading 3-1. Arizona has an unearned run in that ball game. Clayton Kershaw on the hill looking for his 16th victory for the Dodgers. He's been defeated just 3 times this year.
I saw a stat about Kershaw in that game. First time this year he's pitched with the bases loaded.
Is that right?
Yes.
Who are all these guys on base? How'd that happen?
What? There's somebody, all 3 of them are covered. Yep, first time this year.
Look at that. Pagan doesn't much like facing Franklin Morales. 0 for 7, 5 punch outs in his career. 2-1 count.
Would make it 0 for 8 with 6.
He's going to be able to do that. Arenado will throw out Pagan at first. In the inning, Duffy comes around after a 1-out double on a perfectly executed bunt by Blanco. Bank game recap. Paying for checking. It's a thing of the past. Get First Bank's free checking at efirstbank.com. Well, last night was all about pitching, and tonight so far has been all about pitching. Tim Hudson going to the 5th inning has not relinquished a hit. Frankie's given up a run on 7 hits. He has struck out 5, hasn't walked anybody, but he's thrown 76 pitches in 4 innings. So the Giants have a 1-0 lead. Corey Dickerson, Michael McHenry, Josh Rutledge for the Purple in the 5th inning. Dickerson hit a fly ball to left when he came up at the 2nd against Hudson. Rockies have had 2 base runners. Blackman reached on an error, and Morneau walked with 1 out last inning. He was erased on a 5-4-3 double play off the bat of Arenado. Good play by Sandoval, diving to his left to start that double play. Oh, 0-1 on Dickerson. Corey had a sac fly in the 3-2 win on Monday. Hitting .326 against right-handed pitching. This ball driven to deep right field. Stay fair, and it's gone. It is a fair ball, home run number 20. Dickerson breaks up the no-hitter and the shutout. It's 1-1.
It's the best kind of swing. And that's when you're yelling out of the dugout. There goes your no-hitter, your shutout.
All in one. And look where it landed, McCovey Cove.
How did he get that? Was that with the fishing pole? First the pitch. Oh. It's almost like that swing he had the other day back at Coors Field when he hit the ball into the upper deck. Leg up, back down, and then the quickness of the hands.
This will be a pretty shot of it.
Yes, it will.
On the fly.
On the fly. I was wondering if it hit on the concrete and then went into McCovey Cove.
No, that was a full-fledged splash hit. .20 home runs for Corey Dickerson. 2 strikes on McHenry. How about this? It's the 100th splash hit in the history of AT&T Park, and it's the 34th by an opponent. It's the 3rd time a Rocky has done it. Cargo has the other 2, right?
Yes.
Cargo had one against Bumgarner, if I remember right, doesn't he?
Well, seems right. And it was almost identical to the last one that Corey just hit, because it was right down the line. Right just inside the foul pole.
One out, Rutledge at the plate. This is to deep short. Duffy showing good range. Gets it to Morse. 2 outs. DJ LeMahieu 2 for 3 with a double on Monday. Fly ball to right field in the 3rd inning. Right before the All-Star break, he put together a 10-game hitting streak, the best of his career. Actually, let me correct that. That was a season high. He had a 14-game hitting streak, I believe it was last year. 0-1 on DJ, and this is to Duffy as well. So the Rockies get even. They get their first hit. A home run from Corey Dickerson to tie things up in the 5th. 100th splash hit all time at AT&T. In for Cubby Cove.
The City by the Bay headed to the bottom of the fifth thanks to Corey Dickerson. The 100th splash hit here at AT&T Park. Compliments of Corey Dickerson, the Colorado Rocky. Time now for something I like to call batting title math. Corey Dickerson, of course, could be eligible for the batting title, but he needs a few more plate appearances. We're talking 126 plate appearances needed to get to that 502 plate appearance mark to qualify for the batting title. So here's how you do the math. 31 games left, goes into 126 times, 4.06 plate appearances per game. Of course, that 31 games remaining includes a suspended game with the Giants that's going to pick up on Monday in the 6th inning. So who knows if Corey Dickerson's going to be in that game, and who knows how many plate appearances he might get. But I like to play this game every single day because I think Corey Dickerson might have a shot, and he might be rivaling Justin Morneau down to the wire, guys.
It honestly would take some good fortune, because to get over 4 plate appearances, average that over the remaining games, you probably need a couple of 16-inning affairs.
The other day at home, I think, what did he have, 5 or 6 at bats?
That helped.
That one helped.
But again,
but
it's
you
a
still
tough
have to play
lefty.
every game.
Yeah,
and he didn't play last night.
No, it's a tough lefty. He's not typically going to be in there. 3-0 on Pence leading off. Pence, Posey, and Sandoval against Morales in the 5th inning. Rockies, despite being out hit 7-1, all even on the scoreboard at 1-1. To Pence. First question during our Toyota Talk inning reads, are both September 1st games going to be televised? Absolutely, yep. The completion of the suspended game will come at 2 o'clock. We'll have our pregame show on Root Sports at 1:30. And then there'll be a little bit of a break. We'll have postgame show. There'll be a little bit break in between. Then they'll roll out the regularly scheduled game between the Giants and Rockies. 3-2 on Pence, and a high fastball strikes him out. That's 6 punch outs for Morales. Buster Posey coming to the plate. Who is the best bad ball hitter? For me, Yogi Berra, Manny Sanguillen. I remember Manny Sanguillen was a bad ball hitter.
Yeah, I do too. I never saw him play where I could say, yeah, definitely. But everybody I talked to, and a lot of scouts, when they're talking about bad ball hitters, he was always in the conversation.
You played with one of the more notorious bad ball hitters in Vladimir Guerrero.
Exactly. I mean, from his top of his helmet to his shoelaces, from the other batter's box to his own, it didn't matter. If it was coming up there, he was going to swing at it. And it always goes back to me.
It takes extraordinary hand-eye coordination.
Well, it does, but it always comes back to it's easier to try to tone some guys down than to try to say, hey, you need to expand the zone every once in a while.
Sometimes you have to let an artist create it.
Right. And it goes back to what we were talking about, Michael Morris and other guys that don't put everybody into a box and say you have to swing like this.
That's a fair ball. Posey's out on a good throw by Arenado. 2 outs in the 5th inning. Sandoval walking to the plate. Can we expect to see the younger pitchers in September?
It's one of those questions that they're really deciding on now. As far as who they're going to call up, or September 1st is right around the corner. We saw it earlier. Jenny did a piece before we came on the air. Christian Friedrich is back up because of the injury to Boone Logan.
Called strike on Sandoval.
And speaking of that, you and I were talking to Walt in the dugout today about that suspended game on September 1st. They are going to be able to use an expanded roster for that game.
Well, tonight Eddie Butler pitched Tulsa over Northwest Arkansas, 7-3 final. Butler in the game went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs on 7 hits. He walked 1, struck out 2 to improve to 6-9.
And that suspended game, there's 3 guys that were in that lineup that are on the DL now.
Well, Tulowitzki, when the game was suspended, was at first, and Michael Kadire was at the plate. I really don't think that's going to take place on Monday. Obviously, Tulowitzki's out for the year, and Kadire not yet eligible to come off the disabled list when that game commences.
And Huff, who is pitching for the Giants, he's now with the Yankees. So they're going to have to figure out who they're going to throw. Even before the first pitch is thrown, you're going to have the exchange of the lineups, and you're also going to have changes.
And you formally have to do that. You can't just have different guys appearing on the field. So Wall will go out, Bochy will go out. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Morales. Good inning in the 5th inning. He sets down Pence, Posey, and Sandoval. 1-1 as we go to the 6th. We'd like to welcome all of our Falcon broadband viewers from Colorado Springs. Thanks for watching the Rockies on Root Sports, and be sure to tell us where you're watching from on Twitter at RootSports_RM. 1-1 here in San Francisco, top of the 6th inning. Morales will be first against Tim Hudson. Part of that big three in Oakland many years ago with Barry Zito, who has since retired after finishing his career in San Francisco, and Mark Mulder, who retired a while ago.
I remember, was it just last year or 2 years ago with that bad ankle injury for Hudson?
Who freakish one in the collision with
Eric Young
Jr. Yep. Called strike.
That was just last year, July of. And then watch him right on the foot.
Ooh.
Ow! To still look at that. All the rehab time to come back from that gruesome injury.
I blame that on our guys in the truck because I did not need to see that again.
Well, and nobody feels worse about it than Eric Young Jr. He immediately ran over there, was with them the whole time. It's just one of those plays that happens. You don't like to see it. Both guys were doing their job, but he just happened to have his foot right on top of the base.
That is the sixth strikeout of the night for Tim Hudson, and it is a milestone strikeout for the 39-year-old. It is career strikeout number 2,000. 2,000 punch-outs for Tim Hudson.
Join CC Sabathia, AJ Burnett, Bartolo Colon is the only active players with 2,000 strikeouts or more. Going all fancy again with the colors out on the K's.
You want to know why? It's Irish Heritage Night.
Oh, okay.
I like it. It's pretty cool. Two and one on Blackman, and Charlie smokes one right at Sandoval. Pick up 2 outs.
We've seen some plays tonight from Pablo that it just tells you how hard he's worked on his defense. We saw the dive to his left to make the double play, and then this one where he knew that he wasn't going to be able to catch it. All he could do was cradle it into his midsection.
I've always felt, Huey, and you were an infielder, I've always felt bigger body, but he had great first step quickness.
Quick feet, and that'll help you, especially at third base.
Drew Stubbs slowly hit to second, and Stubbs beat it. Panic knew he had to go barehanded if he was going to have any chance. So the Rockies have their second hit, an infield single for Stubbs, and that'll bring up Morna.
Well, once it went over the head of Hudson and drew speed, go ahead and mark it in the book. Not too shabby of a play from Panic because it kicks off the lip of the dirt and the grass. He had to barehand it, and it still made it close.
Remind me, we got to ask EY later. He has a stopwatch on. I wonder if he was timing it. He may not have been. What Stubbs got up the line from the right side. This ball is ripped to center field, but right at Pagan. It needed to be about 15 feet toward right center, and the Rockies would have taken the lead. 1-1 in the sixth. against 1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Let's check our farmland. What's cooking down on the farm? Farmland, passion for pork since 1959. The Sky Sox have broken their all-time attendance record this year with 344,000 fans. And, they'll do a little bit better than that because they have a ball game this evening against El Paso. Asheville clinched the first half. They clinched the second half Southern Division title with a walk-off win last night. They've had an extraordinary season. They did lose this evening at home to Hagerstown 3-2. But so many guys have enormous years. Ryan McMahon hit another home run tonight. McMahon has 18 home runs and he has 101 RBIs, 284 average for the 19-year-old. El Paso won tonight 5-1 against the Sky Sox.
Pride do tonight? Did he get his 100th RBI?
Correll Prime was 0 for 4 tonight. 20-year-old from Bradenton, Florida. Good-looking athlete he is, Huey. 6'5", 2.25. Big, strong kid. And
he's still stuck on 99 RBIs.
He has 21 home runs, 99 RBIs. Get this, Jeff. This ball on the ground to third. Ooh, that came up. Not a problem for Arenado. Correll has 46 doubles in 491 at-bats.
There's Nolan on the bad hop. Talking about having to be light on your feet, quick first step. Oh, heads up. You don't expect that ball to be that high. But for Nolan, not a problem.
Another interesting thing about Correll Prime, and I'll be honest, we didn't know a lot about him going into this year. One of the reasons was he was a 12th round pick. You learn quickly about your first round picks, your compensatory picks, second round picks. You know if there's a story behind the guy maybe a little bit later on in the draft, but Correll was a 12th round pick out of Manatee High School in Florida. And he's making a name very quickly for himself in the Rockies organization.
Well, he's playing like a first or second round pick.
He is.
That's what's always fun, and we've talked about it before. When you go down to spring training, don't just be focused on the guys on the main fields. Go back to those backfields. See some of those minor league players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing all the same drills. It's just, they're just doing it, trying to make it to the next level.
That's a strike. 3-2 on Duffy. He's got 2 hits tonight, a single and a double. 41,071 in the house tonight. 313th straight sellout at AT&T. 3-2, ball 4. First walk allowed this evening by Morales. Yankees get near a number where the Rockies may have to go and get him, and the Rockies do have some action in their bullpen. Hey, thanks again for tweeting us your questions during our Toyota Talk inning. For more answers, visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/RootSportsRM.
Was pitch number 100 for Franklin. 63 strikes, 37 balls.
Nick Massett is throwing down in the Rockies bullpen. Joe Panic with the 1-strike count. Is to center field. Stubbs come in and he'll get there.
Good break. This next pitch will set a season high for Franklin. 2 starts ago, 3 starts ago. Back on August 10th at Arizona, he had 101 pitches.
Little roller to Morneau. That's all in the 6th inning for the Giants. Job well done, if that's the final pitch for Franklin Morales tonight. 1-1 as we go to the 7th. Arenado will be first. '20th of the season for Corey Dickerson. Here's our AT&T fan photo of the game. It's not a fan, it is chalk artwork. Well done of Todd's number 17 that was retired last weekend. Tweet your photo to #COFanPhoto for an opportunity to have it shown in an upcoming game. Brought to you by AT&T. Nolan Arenado, a strikeout. He grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. The Rockies have 2 hits against Tim Hudson. The home run and an infield hit by Stubbs last inning. A slow ground ball to second. Hudson throwing one of his better games of the second half.
He's utilizing all his pitches, keeping the hitters off balance, everything that you talk about in pitching and what you're trying to accomplish against the hitter.
Tim Hudson has the ground ball rate we mentioned earlier, 53.6% this year, which is very good, but the lowest of his career. The best of his career was above 64% back in 2010. And not surprisingly, as this has popped up, Pence coming on and he'll make the catch. Not surprisingly, that may have been his best year. He went 17-9 for the Braves, and he had a career low 283 earned run average.
Back when he was throwing 2 or 3 miles an hour harder on his fastball. This year it's averaging 89 miles an hour. So without the less velocity, it's going to equal less movement, so the guys are going to square it up more often, and that's why the numbers are going down. But still, he still knows how to pitch. At the end of the day, it's all about changing speeds, making the hitter think it's going to be one pitch and you throw another.
Well, the 25 previous starts this year, the Giants are 16-9. So when he pitches, they've won. Doesn't put people on. His whip, 1.18, is below the league average of 1.28. Corey takes that pitch out of the zone. 2-0. Here's what he did his last time up. Hit one into McCovey Cove. Just the 34th opponent to ever hit one in the air into McCovey Cove. And the Rockies have done it 3 times. Cargo twice, and now Corey Dickerson. It was also the 100th time that a ball was hit into McCovey Cove. Barry Bonds did it a few times.
Well, he did, but for Corey, he also hit that magical number of 20. We came into the season thinking, well, if he got enough at bats, maybe he'd hit into double digits. Maybe 10.
Yeah.
And now you're talking 20. He has a chance to finish with 25, 26, 27 home runs by the end of the season.
Isn't that something?
Right.
You always look for bright spots in what has been a very difficult season, and you're looking at one of the brightest stories for the 2014 Colorado Rockies.
Let's not forget that he made the opening day roster, but then was sent back down to AAA for a week before being called back up.
This ball's well hit to left, but it's going to land on the track in the glove of Gregor Blanca.
You can still follow every Rockies game through the season end with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone or tablet. Get replays, reviews, score, stats, audio, and more. Download at Bat on the App Store. Visit Rockies.com/mobile today.
McHenry at the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. Rapidly moving game, 1-1 in the 7th. Slider that disappeared. It's 0-1. Dickerson, just a little more on his breakdown this year. 20 home runs, 11 at home, 9 out on the road, and he's hit 274 coming into the ball game out on the road. Average up a little bit with the 1 for 3 this evening. So very respectable numbers away from Coors Field. Guy who's hit the best out on the road is Justin Morneau, who's right there in the picture at 325. Morneau's hit 310 at Coors Field.
We were talking about those two when Michael Kadire was on the broadcast. Those two sitting next to each other, talking about hitting. The old veteran imparting some wisdom on the young hitter. But I think it's smart for Corey to be picking his brain all the time. They're similar hitters, both left-handed. They have power, but they can go the other way. And you need to find somebody that's like you hitting-wise, because pitchers they'll pitch the same way to each guy. It's not like, well, one guy's I'm gonna have to go different to him because he is just a guy that'll slap the ball to left field, and the other guy's a pull guy.
Yeah. Another note on Dickerson: of the left-handed hitters for the Rockies, he has the highest average left on left. He's hitting 281 against lefties. This ball through the left side, and a base hit for McHenry. Rockies have their 3rd hit with 2 outs. That'll allow Rutledge to take some swings here in the 7th. Auto glass damage. Trust Safelite online at safelite.com, on the phone at 303-287-5000. Rutledge is grounded to second and short this evening. I don't know if that counts.
No.
I don't know if Safelite can help there. Have we ever seen a ball, because the way that sign's constructed, you could actually hit a ball that you think's a home run and it hits the car that's above the wall?
Right.
Had to have happened.
I'm sure it's in the rule book and the ground rules here.
Hudson with the 214 lifetime wins, the most of any active pitcher. CC Sabathia is next on that list with 208. Bartolo Colon at 201. Mark Burley closing in on 200. Then it drops all the way down to A.J. Burnett. It's why so many people in baseball, there's a strikeout, and that ends the inning, think that 300 is really going to be an elusive number for the modern day starting pitcher. 1-1 stretch time in San Francisco. This look back, Cooney Lexus, where luxury has a new address open in Greenwood Village in Colorado Springs. Franklin Morales pitched very well tonight. 6 innings, 7 hits, a run, and 6 punch-outs. The only run he gave up, Duffy doubled in the 4th inning with 1 out. Scored on a Gregor Blanco bunt. Corey Dickerson, his 25th career home run, his 20th this year, a splash hit into McCovey Cove. And as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, the new arm out there for the Rockies is the veteran Nick Massett. So Massett will face Hudson, and then the top of the order.
Well, 4 days since Nick has been out on the hill. Last time was against Miami. In fact, the last 3 outings, Kansas City, Miami, 3 1/3, no runs.
Ball, 2 strikes. Popped up and hit Henry in the mask. Catchers never complain.
No, why should they?
No, and nothing once spring training is underway feels right, because you get beat up. And a great pitch there. Massett strikes out Hudson for the first out in the 7th.
Well, if you're looking for a great ticket deal, check out the Blake Street Steal. It's available select games throughout the season for only $20.14. Visit Rockies.com/specials to get yours today. Blake Street Steal, $20.14.
Angel Pagano 0 for 3 against Morales, 2 punch-outs. 7 hits the Giants accumulated came in the second, third, and fourth innings. Morales finished strong. A little over 100 pitches tonight for Franklin.
103 pitches, 65 for strikes. But I thought Franklin, whenever he needed to, he made the pitch. And that's something that has eluded him for the most part this year, where when he needed to make a pitch, that was when he would give up the hit.
Yeah,
but not tonight.
Yeah, tonight he got the big outs. And Jim Joyce calls that a strike. Angel Pagan's got to take a walk. 0-2.
Well, looking at the Ford strike zone, caught the bottom of it. He was set up inside, held by Michael.
Breaking ball in the dirt. 1-2. Two on Pagan. Remember Pence next.
You're going to attack Pagan, especially left-handed. Changeups are off speed. Tendency to open up too quickly, and that's when you can strike him out. Almost.
Pagan turned 33 last month. Native of Puerto Rico. Originally drafted by the Mets in the 4th round back in 1999. Another breaking ball in the dirt. 3-2. Couldn't get Pagan to bite on that one. Pagan with the Giants been very steady, hitting in that 280 plus range.
He does something that you don't see as much anymore. It used to be almost routine. With 2 strikes, you choke up on the bat. I mean, you heard that in Little League all the time. Pagan does that, though. I mean, he's a good inch and a half off the end, and that's a great shot from that angle.
And the hard sinker is low, so with 1 out, Pagan reaches in front of Pence. The Rockies' upcoming home schedule is brought to you by RE/MAX. Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Giants will be in, and we mentioned it will begin at 1:30 in the afternoon with our pregame show, and then the conclusion of that suspended game from earlier this year, and then game 2. And then Tuesday and Wednesday, no television Wednesday afternoon. The Padres are in over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Pence 1 for 3. He's had enormous success against the Rockies this year. Hitting .429 coming into the ball game against Colorado. Big, strong guy who plays with high energy. And that ball's thrown away by Massett, and it's in no man's land. Pagan will stop at second for a moment. I thought it may be one of those where he could move all the way to third. Fortunately, the Rockies were able to get to the baseball pretty quickly. So a throwing error on Massett, and that could be really costly. You put a guy with speed and scoring position in a 1-1 game in the 7th.
Tough play for Justin because the runner's diving back to try to reach over the top of him. You just don't have enough room. And then with the railing down the lines, kind of protecting people, it's a really soft netting. So it won't kick off there as hard as it would, say, off a normal wall, as we see Brooks Brown going down to get loose. So when that ball hit that netting, it just went back almost to where the foul line is and where the bullpens are.
Good pitch right on the outside corner. 0-1 on Pence.
89th error on the Rockies this year. They come into the game at 983 fielding percentage. It's
too big a number. Way too big a number.
It's 13th in the National League.
Honestly, with the infield that they have and the outfielders that they have, you thought this team could contend for the top spot in terms of fielding percentage in the National
Early
League.
on, they were. I mean, they were in the top 4 or 5. Seemed regularly the first couple months of the season. It hurts when you lose Nolan to the broken finger. He missed some time. But still his error number, I mean, he's at 15.
Two and one. Gone at second, 2-1 on Pence in the bottom of the 7th in a 1-1 game. I think they also have had an inordinate number of errors from their pitching staff. Nicasio has 4 errors by himself, which actually, let me correct that. But Frankie has 4 errors. Nicasio has 1 error. Pence walks. Posey coming up.
Back-to-back walks. Looking down at the bullpen, yeah, Brooks Brown just
ready.
Well, he just gave the thumbs up that he's loose. To go, but you're going to get the stall from Michael first to go out to buy 3 or 4 more pitches, and then he'll of course have the 8 when he goes out on the mound, because here comes Walt.
I always wonder how those conversations go. And a veteran guy like Massett, McHenry comes out, it's pretty clear what they're doing.
Pretty much, yeah. You know what's going on.
So Massett will jog off. 2 on with 1 out in the 7th. Brooks Brown will take over. Buster Posey coming up.
the 7th. Still a 1-1 affair between the Rockies and the Giants. The first 15,000 fans on Sunday, September 7th, will receive a Baby Bull bobblehead gnome as courtesy of 850 KOA and Napa Auto Parts. Arrive early. Gates will open 2 hours prior to game time. Get the Baby Bull bobblehead gnome. For Brooks Brown's coming in, trying to clean up a little bit of what Nick Massett left him with the 2 walks, runners at first and second. Appeared in Monday night's game. Last night's game, Tuesday night's game. 2/3 of an inning, couple strikeouts. Here with runners 7 for 11. He's got Buster Posey coming to the plate. Buster, a couple home runs last night, starting to swing the bat like San Francisco fans are accustomed to seeing. Let's hope Brooks can throw that sinker and get a double play.
Yeah, Buster Posey had one of his better nights in a while. Struggled in the first half. He had a 2-run home run and then a solo home run later on. The 2-run home run came off of De La Rosa. Second time in his career he's hit 2 in a game. First time in a few years that's happened for him. 1 for 3 tonight. 1 out, 2 on. Mike Krukow, our friend on the Giants television broadcast side, and a guy who had an outstanding career as a pitcher. There's Kuip on the left, Wayne Kuiper, and Mike Krukow on the right. Mike came by to say hello to us last night after the game and was asking about Brown. He goes, why is this guy kicked around so much? He's got great stuff.
94 to 96 on the fastball. He's got movement, can throw the changeup.
No swing, according to Marvin Hudson.
And I'm not sure he's going to throw Buster a changeup because Buster took him deep on the changeup last night. He came back and was inside.
It was a changeup that ran back over the inner third of the plate, as you described. 2-0. And he went more of a slider or cutter, and it's 3-0. Sandoval on deck.
Well, you have to watch for the green light for Posey.
Took the strike. It's 3-1. Posey is one of 14 National League players all time to have won a Rookie of the Year award, and then later on in their career won an MVP award. He did it in 2010 and then the MVP in 2012. The Rookie of the Year 2010. Ryan Braun, Rookie of the Year in 07, just narrowly over Tulowitzki, and then won an MVP in 2011. 3-1 on Posey. And that's a strike. Job there by Brown. 3-2. Ryan Howard, Albert Pujols, the other two to have done it in the 21st century. Guys like Bagwell, Andre Dawson, Johnny Bench, Dick Allen, Pete Rose on that list. Three former Giants: McCovey, Cepeda, Mays on the list as well. 3-2. On Buster Posey at second base. Pagan, who can run. Pence at first can run.
And we start the runners.
They're going. And it's fouled off.
Watching Hunter Pence run at at first base. He looks like he's hobbling. I don't know if it's a knee or a foot issue. He's not running the same that he normally does. Usually if they start him once, they'll start him again.
They're going, and it's a base hit to left. Dickerson up with it quickly, but Pagan, because of the jump, scores. And the Giants take a 2-1 lead. Buster Posey again, 2 nights in a row. And both times late, victimizing Brooks Brown.
Because the runners were running, it allows Pagan to score. Because this ball was hit hard. It wasn't he wouldn't have scored if they weren't going. Because Corey closes ground. It's a good jump. Pretty strong throw to the plate to even make it this close. 2 hops, gets rid of it within 1 stride, all the way in the air. Last night it was a changeup. Tonight it was a fastball that Buster hit off of Brooks.
Sandoval coming up, who's 0 for 3. The Ford Strike Zone's powered by Ford Cars, big MPG, smart technology, and unsurpassed quality. See what happens when fun meets the road. Ford, go further. Off the plate, ball 1. Sandoval, a fly ball to center, a strikeout. And he also hit one on the ground to Josh Rutledge at shortstop. Christian Friedrich, who just came back to the big leagues today, is in the bullpen. And that's right, Friedrich, when he went down to Colorado Springs, started working out of the bullpen. No longer a starter, at least right now. This ball is going to be caught by Dickerson near the track. Hence will go back, as will Posey. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Michael Morse. Morse a double back in the second, also a strikeout and a ground ball to third. Important for Brown to keep it just a 1-run game, and he will. So in the inning, there were a couple of walks. Those were issued by Massett, and then the base hit to Buster Posey. So the run charge to Nick Massett. 2-1 Giants. To the 8th we go.
San Francisco. The Giants have a 2-1 lead over the Colorado Rockies. Well, we know it's been a wide world of weird sports injuries for the Colorado Rockies so far this season. Jorge De La Rosa left the game with a contusion to his thumb yesterday. He does think he will be making his next start. But when you take a look at the left hand alone, look at all of these injuries that have left the Colorado Rockies hurt. It includes Nolan Arenado breaking that left middle finger. Brett Anderson broke a thumb. Carlos Gonzalez spent time on the disabled list after having surgery on that left index finger to remove the growth that was going on in there. Then Christian Bergman fractured his thumb. Jordan Lyles fractured the whole hand. And, of course, now Jorge De La Rosa with the bruised thumb. So it's so bizarre that it all ends up on the left hand. Of course, it's just kind of par for the course the way the Rockies season has gone, Drew and Jeff.
Well, Jenny, our creative services department created that interesting graphic. The only thing they left out, they did a wonderful job. They should have had like stitches and bandages.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have been able to see the hand because there was so much going on.
Yeah, you're right. And a big purple bruise in the middle of it. It's been an odd year. DJ LeMahieu with a 1-1 count. Brandon Barnes in the on-deck circle. Hudson still out there, and there's a base hit the other way for DJ. So the Rockies have the tying run aboard here in the 8th.
Well, that's the definition of fighting off a pitch, kind of throwing it out to right field.
Jeremy Affeld's throwing down in the Giants bullpen. There's the swing.
Yeah, and that was a cut fastball or sinking fastball back towards the hands of DJ. He hit it just above the label. Didn't get on the sweet spot, but strong enough to take it to the outfield.
It's in all likelihood the final hitter for Hudson.
Well, they had Jeremy Affelt. Now they also have Sergio Romo.
Two of the next 3 hitters for the Rockies left-handed, Blackman, and then after Stubbs, Morneau. Brothers and Friedrich, you don't often see 2 lefties side by side. And the runner going, and LeMahieu's cut down.
That's a missed hit and run.
Yeah, it was a hit and run, and Barnes swung through it, and LeMahieu was a dead duck.
That was on Brandon Barnes. Because DJ was thrown out by a mile, but he was waiting. You don't want to get picked off. And he swung through the slider. Easy throw to Duffy. Just has to wait for DJ to slide into the tag. And that'll go down as a 9th caught stealing on DJ.
1 strike on Barnes. Slider's been such an effective pitch tonight for Tim Hudson.
We've come into the game, it was just a .233 batting average against on the slider.
So many statistics. His line drive percentage against 21%, which is right about the league average, and he gets a strikeout on another slider, the highest of Hudson's career. Now with 2 outs and nobody on, Bochy looks like he's going to let him face Blackman. 8 strikeouts tonight for Tim Hudson. The day after every Rockies victory, get 40% off your online order at Papa John's. Enter the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. Also 10% of net sales will be donated to Children's Hospital Colorado by Papa John's.
No way he would let Hudson face Charlie if there was a runner out there in scoring position.
Charlie tried to bunt his way on. It's fouled off.
There was 2 schools of thought on that. With 2 outs and nobody on, laying down a bunt. You know, some guys will say, well, if you can get on and then steal the next pitch, I'll take it. But a lot of times managers will say, with nobody on, 2 outs, try to hit me a double. So you're at least in scoring position.
And the Giants, accordingly, are playing a no doubles defense in the outfield.
Only 5 for 12 against Tim in his career.
This is a ground ball to short. Duffy's got it. And the Rockies look like they had something promising going when LeMahieu led the inning off with a single. 2-1, middle of 8. Here's our CenturyLink link to what's next. Tomorrow afternoon, no television, but Jordan Lyles will be on the hill for the Rockies. Yusmeiro Petit will make a start for Tim Lincecum, who they're passing over to get some of his mechanics straightened out. Petit has retired, get this folks, 38 straight hitters. Isn't that fitting in a series where Madison Bumgarner was near perfect last night, and if you missed it at the start of tonight's game, Tim Hudson took a no-hitter into the 5th before Corey Dickerson hit one into the pond out there in right field. So Christian Friedrich will take over, and for the first time this year, he's working out of the bullpen.
Yeah, and that's what he did after he was sent back down to Colorado Springs.
First pitch, a bouncer to Arenado.
It's a good return first pitch. Well, you don't want to miss the second annual Brew Fest at Coors Field on Saturday, September 6th, prior to the Rockies-Padres game. Enjoy tastings from local breweries from 4 p.m. until first pitch in the Coors outfield picnic area. Purchase your ticket package to enjoy the festivities at Rockies.com/brewfest.
One 1-0 on Joe Panik. Good spot at 93.
Christian was excited. We talked to him in the locker room today, obviously getting called back up, but more importantly, he said, you know what, I got kind of starting to like this relieving role.
Yeah, he told us that he just feels like he's in a much better place right now. He always has a bright smile on his face. He's a great young man. But it was good to see, Huey, you know, you can't play this game, you can't play any game without confidence. And there's a strikeout, and it appears like he has his confidence back.
And this game will knock it out of you at times. No player likes to hear, well, you need to go back down. Because everybody thinks, hey, I deserve to be here, but Christian needed to go down. He needed to get out of the limelight, the lights, clear the head. Go back down there, work on what you need to work on, and then just wait for the call.
It's interesting because the Rockies have sent some guys back down, and 3 come to mind. All were starting pitchers at one point, and one was, well, I'm going to confuse everybody. I'll just tell you who the 3 were. Christian Friedrich goes back down. He was a starting pitcher. They move him to the bullpen. Juan Nicasio goes back down. He was a starting pitcher. They move him to the bullpen. Both are back. Originally a starting pitcher, Chad Bettis, came up last year as a starter, moved to the pen in preparation for this year, did not work out at the big league level, and he was sent back down, and he's starting again right at Morneau. Good inning for Friedrich. 1-2-3, and now we'll go to the 9th inning. The Rockies trail just 2-1. They'll have Stubbs, Morneau, and Arenado. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online, only at southwest.com. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Giants 2 and the Rockies 1 as we go to the top of the 9th inning in the city by the bay. Rockies trying to rally against Santiago Casilla, but first we go east to Denver. Our studio, Mark Stout, Ryan Spilborghs. Fellas. All right, guys, we appreciate it. And hopefully the Rockies can provide those guys with a happy recap here with a rally in the 9th inning. Drew Stubbs will be first. Drew an infield hit in the 6th inning. Santiago Casilla is the new closer, and he plunks Drew Stubbs to begin the inning.
This is off the back or the shoulder blade. I just told Keith Duggar, I'm fine. Just let me just walk for a minute. Get some of the numbness out of my back. Fastball. Oh, yeah, shoulder blade. Right off the left one.
Well, Casilla just put the fastest guy on the Rockies roster at first base in a 1-run game, nobody out. And you want more good news? Justin Morneau, 5 for 10 lifetime with a home run against Santiago Casilla.
And then the third piece of good news is because of that hit by pitch, the first baseman Travis Ishikawa has to hold the runner on, so there's a bigger hole there between first and second. 11 for 14 in saves, but he has saved his last 11 in a row. And let's hope that changes now after that hit by pitch on Drew. You can drive in or score at least 1, maybe even 2 runs.
Morneau tonight 0 for 2. He walked back in the 4th inning. He smoked the balls last time up to center field. It was right at Angel Pagano. That's outside 1-0. Here's the Subway in-game box on the Rockies. Not much offensively. They have just 4 hits. Dickerson, the big hit. The ball into McCovey Cove, his 20th home run of the year. 2-1 San Francisco in the top of the 9th. And it's 2-0. This is where the Rockies made their mark in mid-June in San Francisco. They rallied against the bullpen late. Twice it was against Sergio Romo.
And that's why Casilla is closing now.
That is why. He held on to the job for a couple of more days after the Rockies left town, but after blowing 3 out of 5 save opportunities, he became a setup man, and Casilla took over in the 9th. They have an anti-2014 bullpen, and the reason I say that is that for the most part, there's Romo, they have more, not necessarily soft tossers, but guys that throw at the league average as opposed to hard throws. That ball left center field is going to run to the wall. Stubbs is going to score to tie up the baseball game. Morneau in his second. Justin Morneau has tied it up with a double to left center field here in the 9th inning. Boy, what a season Justin Morneau has had.
And what a turn of events in the last minute and a half, 2 minutes. When you had the right guy at the plate, and Justin, he's ahead in the count. And boy, did he just tattoo this one.
And how about this, Huey? He's now hit in 19 of his last 20 road games with that double.
Drew sees it down. You're not going to catch him. Cuts the bag perfectly. And now it'll be up to Nolan. And if you're talking about having the guys at the plate that you want, first it was Morneau, now it's Nolan, followed by Corey.
And Casilla missed on the first 2 pitches, so Morneau, who was 5 for 10 against him, was in an offensive count. And he drove that ball to deep left center field to tie it up at 2.
You can tell how precarious the bullpen is because, again, Romo and Affeldt are back up in the pen for the Giants.
Well, with Dickerson on deck, they're going to run Affeldt out there, and Bochy could piecemeal it. We've seen him do that before. Let's see what Nolan can do here against Casilla. Stay one of those at bats. You work on it virtually every day in batting practice. It's a move 'em situation. He's got to get the ball to the right side.
You know, when his at bat is over with, at minimum, Justin has to be at third. I don't care if you just dribble the ball to second base. Yeah, you'd like to see one in the gap, but for Nolan now, the good thing about it is when you go to the plate, that you're not thinking anything different. You've already set that in your mind because of the double. So you're walking up into the plate, you kick the dirt around, do whatever you do, and say, okay, keep the hands inside. I'm going to back off the plate. They're going to try to pitch me away. I got to let the ball travel. All those things.
Yeah, it's a ground ball to third. That's not going to get the job done. And the approach really wasn't what you wanted there. I mean, he got the barrel out. He did not work inside that.
Well, that was not a good at bat.
That was a hook swing. So Arenado retired, and Dickerson coming up. See if Bochy comes out, or you
might just walk
him and set up the double play with McHenry on deck, and then keep Casilla in there, and that's what they're going to do.
Well, it's because the winning run is already out at second base. It's an easier move. You don't have to bring another relief pitcher in.
So McHenry comes up with Dickerson at first, and the go-ahead run Justin Morneau at second. 1 out. McHenry a single his last time up. He's 1 for 3. Rockies are 8-5 against Bruce Bochy's Giants this year. It's the only club in the NL West that the Rockies have a winning record against. Inside on McHenry. The Giants have lost 11 of their last 13 one-run games. That's un-Giant-like.
Well, when they were going to the World Series, they were always the team that was on the other side of those one-run games. And somehow they came through with the hit. And,
I think they're more accustomed than just about any team in baseball in playing those kind of games because of their home environment.
You know you're going to be in them every night, so you don't panic.
Henry's had a terrific year offensively, trying to come through here in the 9th inning. Whoa, that's I don't know how that's just fortune.
Yeah, that was just stick the glove out and hope it goes in. That's where this ball hits. There's no way he should have been able to backhand pick it with the catcher's glove.
There's luck involved here.
And that's what it was. Even with the short backstop.
Well, you second and third automatically.
Yeah.
3-0 on McHenry. Rutledge is on deck. Well, an inauspicious start for Casillas. His first pitch of the inning, he plunked Drew Stubbs right in the back. And then the double by Morneau on a 2-0 count. Arenado grounded out. Dickerson an intentional walk. McHenry's 3-0 on it. 3-1. This is 4th strike in 14 pitches. I understand that 4 of those pitches are intentional balls, but he has been off as Dave Righetti chats with Bruce Bochy.
And for Michael, he's got to think the same thought as far as where he wants that ball right now. Almost like you do on a 3-0 count. I know he was taking, but that's how small you want that zone to be. Don't expand it.
This is a big chopper to short, and they're going to be able to turn it over. Rockies get even, though, on the double by Morneau. And we'll go to the bottom of the 9th inning in a 2-2 ball game. In the bottom of the 9th inning at AT&T Park. He wants tacos. Fans follow at Root Sports _RM on Twitter And you'll receive alerts when the Rockies produce 7 or more runs for the Rockies Taco Special from Taco Bell. Brandon Crawford's going to be the pinch hitter, and Juan Nicasio's on the mound for the Rockies here, trying to get this thing to extra frames.
Well, since he's rejoined the Rockies and shifted to the bullpen, 6 out of the 8 times have been scoreless for Juan. A bit different here tonight, coming in the bottom of the 9th inning with the score tied. This is not a place. Most of the time, Walt would like to bring him in and, earlier in the game, just to make sure he's getting his feet wet in this new role. But tonight, he's asked to keep it right where it's at.
Jackson Williams is making his major league debut. He's come in for McHenry behind the plate. So it's a double switch. This allows Walt to get some length out of Nicasio if the Rockies can obviously get it to extra innings. Brandon Crawford will pinch hit, and then it's Angel Pagan.
Because he's an everyday player, this is only his 3rd pinch hit this year.
The 29-year-old Jackson Williams behind the plate. Farmhand with the Giants, and he makes his big league debut against San Francisco. Got a great reputation defensively.
I remember watching and thinking that in spring training, watching all those practices, games, catching bullpens.
95 with the heater, but it's high and away, so it's 1-1 on Crawford. Crawford just 11 for his last 66 at the plate. Hitting only .201 against righties, which is the lowest qualifying batting average for left-handed hitters against right-handed pitchers. Actually, period. Right-handed hitters also in the National League. There it is. B.J. Upton next on that list. And a strikeout of Crawford by Nicasio.
They just kept climbing the ladder. To chase the pitch before up. Pitch number 4. Yeah, go ahead and go even higher with pitch number 5.
Angel Pagan 0 for 3, walked and scored in the 7th inning. This is his preferred side of the plate, at least statistically, hitting .314 left-handed this season. Side on Pagan. Sergio Romo.
The 3rd time tonight that he's gone out there and started to get loose.
Rule of thumb you're very aware of. 3 times up, you're either in the game or you're shut down for sometimes you miss a day if you get up 3 times and don't get in.
Yeah, it depends on how much you pitched in the previous 2 or 3 days.
That home run in 2013 that beat the Rockies was a walk-off. There's a base hit. Was an inside the park home run. It's Pagan who can run with a single with 1 out. Hunter Pence will be next with Posey on deck. A reminder, if your windshield's damaged, trust SafeLight. SafeLight.com. Phone number 303-287-5000 to make an appointment. Raptors last time. 1 for 3 tonight.
And Charlie Blackmon in right field, really pinching the right center field gap. And a lot of room down the right field line, but take away Triple's alley.
Did a really nice job, Huey, of holding the baseball there, kind of freezing Pagan's legs if he had a notion to run.
Well, he flinched. He thought about going, but Juan held the ball too long. So he had to shut it down, and that's smart on Juan's part. And that's not a sign that will come from the bench. Good block.
Really good block.
You're making your major league debut. 2-2 game, bottom of the 9th inning.
We talk about infielders finishing plays. You know, if they dive, are they able to get an out? There's a finish for a catcher when there's a runner on base and you block. It's not only the block, but how quickly you can scramble. First of all, keep the ball around and then be able to get it so there's not an advancement even after a block.
I think that's the big thing. How far does it scoot away from you? I mean, do you really soften that ball as it's hitting you so it's only a foot or two away?
Fouled off. It's 2-2 on Pence. Well, there's a drill that catchers do. You've seen it a ton, Huey, in your career, and then as an instructor, where you basically put a circle out front, you know, a 3-foot circle, and how many balls you can block and keep it in that circle. You don't want that chest protector to turn into a trampoline.
No, not a bounce back.
Yeah,
that we used to have growing up.
Pagan takes off, shuts it down, and a strikeout of Pence. 2 outs. He chased the pitch up.
Well, I think he chased the pitch because of the false break from Pagan at first base. He saw Pagan going, but he slipped on his first stride. So that makes you look at it differently as a hitter. Your attention is divided because you see the guy go and you think, well, I've got to swing to protect him, but then you forget about the strike zone.
Buster Posey, 2 home runs yesterday, and he drove in the go-ahead run at the time in the 7th inning to make it 2-1. He's 2 for 4 tonight. He obviously not only brings a reputation to the plate, but he brings a hot bat. Average up to 290, 17 home runs, already 2 more than he hit all of last year. There goes Pagan, and it's fouled back.
Pretty good jump at first base.
You know, if Pagan were successful, you'd have a decision to make. Ordinarily, so you're not going to bring up the left-handed batter, but as hot as Posey is.
That time there was no slip, head down the whole way. He wasn't looking back to see what Posey was doing.
Not going. And this ball tomahawked to deep left field, and it is gone. 2-run walk-off home run, Buster Posey. What a 24-hour period's been for him. They were concerned about Buster Posey because from the All-Star break last year to basically the All-Star break this year, he was a shadow of the hitter that won an MVP a couple seasons ago. But that hitter has reemerged of late, and particularly the last 2 days against the Rockies. His 3rd home run. And the 2-run shot wins it the bottom of the 9th for the Giants. Our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game provided again by Buster Posey. His 18th home run of the year. He got a high fastball, the one that Pence couldn't catch up to, or Crawford. He got the barrel out and hit the 2-run walk-off. His second career walk-off home run, our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery of the game. And the Giants win it 4-2 over the Rockies on a Wednesday night at AT&T Park. Nicasio takes the loss. Casilla, who blew the save, comes up with the victory. And the Giants have taken 2 of the first 3 here in San Francisco. The day game tomorrow will not be televised. Once again, the Giants 4 and the Rockies 2 as we go to our Root Sports Studios in Denver. Mark Stat and Ryan Spilborghs, guys.